Hi, everyone. This is the kickoff meeting for the Kubernetes SIG Docs localization subgroup. Today is Monday, October 5th, 2020. And please follow all CNCF Code of Conduct guidelines and treat each other right. And at this point, I am going to share my screen. Here we go. Here we go. And so hopefully everyone can see the agenda here. And I thought we could just start by introducing ourselves and what we do. I'll go first. I'm Brad Topol. I'm a Kube SIG Docs maintainer, and I also lead a lot of the Kubernetes and cloud native contributions for IBM. And I've volunteered to lead this new subgroup. And so let's go and introduce and meet everyone else. So I guess I'll just go through the way the list is. So is it Sioko? Want to go off mute?
Yes, my name is Soko.
Soko, okay.
Yeah, Soko. I'm from Korea, and actually I'm leader of Korean localization team in Kubernetes website, and I work for E3 is institute research institute in South Korea, and it is government organization. But I contribute to Kubernetes for fun.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that's all. Thank you.
Okay, excellent. And we'll go next to Irvi.
Hi, my name is Irvi. I am a co-chair in SIG Docs. Been contributing in Kubernetes for around years or so. Also a software engineer. Nice to meet you.
You're breaking up a little bit, Irvi. It's a little hard to hear you.
Okay, so let me repeat myself. So my name is Irvi. I'm a co-chair in SIG Docs. I've been contributing in Kubernetes for about 1 year or so, and in daily life, I'm a software engineer. Yeah. Nice
Fantastic.
to meet you.
Yep. And thank you, Irvi. Let's go to Savitha.
Hi, everyone. My name is Savitha. I contribute to SIG Docs, SIG Release, and SIG Contributs. Been doing that for over an year and a half, I should say. And it's been a wonderful experience, and I want to help out more wherever I can. And during the day, I work as a platform engineer at DemandWorks. So it's safe to say that I'm living and breathing Kubernetes throughout the day. Excited to meet you all here.
Nice meeting you. Excellent. Welcome. Let's go to Masahiro.
Hi, I'm Masahiro from Japan. I'm founder of Docs Japanese, working at Line Corporation and contributing for my firm. Thank you.
Okay, excellent. And let's go to Rael.
Hello, my name is Rael. I work at Red Hat as SRE, and I am working with the Spanish team for the localization. So I've been working for about more than a year and a half or so, and it's nice to have other folks from other communities to be able to put in common what we learn and how we are working, and let's see how we can improve the contributors number, because that's probably the main problem that we have as localization teams, because it's hard to get people involved, and it's harder now with all these restrictions and a limitation. So it's nice to have some team to work with on that.
Fantastic. Excellent. Thank you. And is it Jiri?
Giri, you can call me.
Giri or Giri?
Hi
Okay.
everyone, very nice to meet you. My name is Giri. I'm currently based in Jakarta, Indonesia. I work for a company called Gojek. It used to be a startup. Now I don't think it's a startup anymore. Started contributing to Kubernetes, I think in 2017. I raised PRs, a couple of various SIGs. And then I started this localization for Indonesia
Mm-hmm.
since about 1.5 years ago with Irvi, actually. She moved country recently. uh, yeah, this is a very great initiative. I can learn a lot from other localization team folks. I'm also a CNCF ambassador.
Fantastic.
Actually, Brad, we've met in Shanghai. If it's not last year, maybe last year.
I remember that, Gary. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's
Very nice to see you.
yep. When we were able to travel, that was great.
Yeah, I'm missing that a lot.
Okay, so I've gotten all the names on the participant list. Is there anyone I've missed? Or that's all of us, right? And so, as the top thing on the agenda, I'd like to say welcome. Thank you all for participating in this subgroup. We did prepare a mission statement that I worked with Irvi and other folks from the SIG Docs leadership team, chair team. And again, if you look at the mission statement, a mission of SIG Docs localization subgroup is to work across the SIGDoc localization teams to collaborate on defining and documenting the processes for creating localization contribution guides, and also worry about looking for opportunities for, if need be, the sharing and creating of common tools so that we can share from each other, and also to serve as an opportunity to feedback new requirements to the SIGDoc leadership team. So this is a great place to worry about those types of topics. And let me pause. Did we have someone join? Was it Kohai? Kohai, did you get to introduce yourself? Kohai, you on mute? Let's see if we can get Kohai to unmute. Maybe not. Let us know when you can unmute, Kohai. So that's the way we think of it. We've had so much growth in all the localizations, and so many teams working on localizations that it seemed to make sense that we should get together. And right now, I guess we're scheduled to get together once a month, and we have a Slack channel. So we have a mailing list and a Slack channel. And I guess if there's a need, we can meet more than once a month. But the idea is to get us together and to be able to keep track of the issues that are affecting all your teams and make sure we're able to amplify your voice on what can be done to reduce friction, what can be done to help the teams, all the localization teams. If there's a way to do, common docs and make sure that we all are doing things in a way that makes it easy to find the localization docs. We can work on that. We can work on like I said, if there's a sharing of ideas, sharing of tools, we have that opportunity here. And then if we have, really tough, requirements that we need to bring forward to the SIGDoc leadership team, we can, discuss them here and then bring them forward as a group and say, hey, we've worked with across all the localization teams, and this is really important to us, right? This is what we really need. So this is just a great opportunity for us to get together and do these types of things. Just real quick on logistics. I pretty much got everything set up. We got the mailing list. We got the Google group created. We got the Slack channel. We got, the Zoom account. I think I've got to update. The last thing I need to do is just update the docs to advertise the meeting, just the community doc and the actual SIG docs themselves. So I'll do that soon. And turns out we already have 2 calendars. So one for the Asian Pacific meeting, one for the regular SIG docs meeting, and I didn't want to add a 3rd calendar for this. So I'll work with the SIG chairs to actually get us on a calendar that already exists instead of creating a whole new calendar for one meeting. So we want to do that. And let me pause back. So let's see who is on that we missed that can do a quick introduction for themselves. Kohei, were you able to get off mute?
Do you hear me?
I can now, yeah.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Sorry, I've been setting up my mic because I just finished CK exam, which went pretty good.
Oh, good.
So I had to remove my microphone from
Sure,
the computer.
that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, hello everyone. I'm Kohei, and I'm from Japan, and I take a lead, one of the leads. Actually, another one, the other lead, Masahiro, is here too. Yeah, I'm a Japanese localization owner, as just with him. Nice to meet you guys.
Fantastic. And then it looks like Philippe was able to join. Philippe, if you'd like to do just a short intro, we're just kind of getting to know each other.
Yes, hello. So I am working on the French translations of the documentation. I am not particularly lead on the project, but I am contributing.
Okay, fantastic. Good enough. And so hopefully everybody heard the basic mission statement and the goals. Again, this is a great opportunity for us to work together. If there's places where we can collaborate on common docs, great. If there's places where we need to make our voice louder to say, hey, this is our top requirement, we get to do that. This is just a way for all of us across the different localization teams to stay organized and talk about the issues that affect the localization teams. So the first thing that was added to the actual agenda, and I'll take notes, is Kohei says he wanted to share Japanese localization milestones and guidelines.
Yes. Yeah. But beforehand, I would like to prepare some stuff.
Do you want me to stop sharing?
Yeah, that too.
So I'll stop sharing and then you can share.
Yeah. Oh, are you guys able to see my screen?
Yep.
Okay. So yeah, this is the website that we constantly see for some reason. Yeah. So right now, I believe there are like, I don't know, like pretty much like 10 languages right now. And I think like from Chinese to Korean and Japanese, like active localization teams to relatively new localization teams such as Ukrainian, or I don't know, for example, what else? Polski, which should be Polish, I think. So like there are many like different languages, and they all run by different teams, right? So I actually one of the person who proposed to create this localization team. So thank you everyone to joining this. So first, I wanted to share a brief activity report about our localization team for Japanese people. But basically, I learned a lot of things from the Korean localization team. So I would also like the Korean team to provide some information about localization too. But I just wanted to be, first to provide some information because I was basically the first one who raised up this yeah, matter. So yeah. Anyway, so I believe this web page is the very first place you would look when you start localization. This is docs contribute / localization, right? So
Yep.
this is this basically describes how you start localization for your language as a new project, right? But it doesn't describe how you manage it. So this is the most difficult part when it comes to managing localization. Just like Kubernetes, it's really easy to build up Kubernetes, but it's really difficult to manage it, right? So we actually changed the structure of this page completely from like describing how to create a new localization project to how to localize in my language, Japanese. So let's see. So this is Japanese, so I would just Google Translate into English.
Oh, thank you. So this
yeah,
is the version of the page that you all wrote specifically in Japanese, I guess for the Japanese team, correct?
Yes. So as you can see, the title is already different. Localizing Kubernetes documentation to translate Kubernetes documentation. And this page describes the Japanese translation policy for Kubernetes documents, right? So this is already different. We basically started how to describing how the workflow works in the translation. So flow of translating document in Japanese. So yeah, this is the basic knowledge you should know. Everything is tracked in GitHub issue, and CLA must be signed. And the English documentation is really good, but we also have this like Japanese summary written by Rantier. Yeah, this is in Japanese, so that the language barrier will be free for Japanese people. Yeah, and also we have Slack team describing the Kubernetes docs J channel is for the Japanese localization. And before you start translating, you should create an issue or look for an issue for a page you want to translate. And yeah, again, if there's any questions, please raise a question on Slack. I think this kind of thing is really important, because when you have a problem and where you don't know where to share, it's really difficult, and this will be a really bad contributor experience. So yeah, please do not hesitate to ask the question. Yeah. So yeah, this is like before you translate or contribute, make a pull request. Actually, yeah, this is better. So fork the repository first, then master, which maybe will be main at some point. Yeah. So the directory structure is content and the language name. Then yeah. So we have different flows where there's no translation so far, and there's actually an existing translation, but you want to update it. So for new page and an existing page, we have different milestones. Because if you want to translate a new page, you can just create the translation from the latest, right? So that's fine. But when it comes to editing the existing ones, it is really difficult for the localization managers to track on which version is like up on which page is up to date, right? So we basically create issues. Oops, so here we have like update, and make blah blah follow version 1.18, right? So they also have like milestones, although, oh, this is pull requests, but
So this is you create issues to identify the pages that you need to update. Is that correct?
yes. So
Okay.
yeah, we keep in track using the Git command. But we want to make it easier, so any proposals are welcome actually. Yeah, but anyway, we have this milestone 1.18-JA.1. Then yeah, based on the in the issue, we also have the diffs between translated and version 1.18. It's like we have this kind of thing, you know. This has a huge diffs, yeah, but yeah, basically there can be from just tiny wording differences to complete like different structure like this. Yep, so they can assign themselves when they want to contribute to the new issue, then just they make the pull request based on the difference, then we review the difference.
Excellent.
Yeah. Like this, yeah. NASA is actually Masahiro, who is in this conversation, yeah. Then we comment. I think this flow is the same for everyone, but yeah. And also we have like frequent used words, like translation tables, so that they won't be overwhelmed for some like frequently used translation words. So yeah, like this, they're Japanese.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and GitHub is pronounced, so it's GitHub. I mean proper noun.
Right. So this is the classic list of technical words that someone may not know what the proper translation to Japanese is. Correct?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
By the way, I have
Yeah.
a questions on how do you maintain these glossaries?
Basically, when we have a problem, we'd add it. So we don't try to make, yeah, we just don't try to make so much effort on just this glossary because it will be a really hard work. So only when we have problems, like I wonder which to which, then we discuss, then decide it, then we apply the updates here.
So this enforces consistency as well. So potentially,
Yeah.
right, there's like 5 different ways to translate quota and into Japanese, and this way you're agreeing that, well, we all should use this translation for consistency.
In case of Korean localization, sorry.
No, please go ahead first.
Thank you. Yeah, in case of Korean localization team, we manage the glossary for localization for Korean in similar way with Koei's team. And we actually having bi-weekly meeting for localization teams, for localization team, and we decide the localization way for each glossary, and we are actually very actively managing that glossary. Previously, we managed it in Google Docs, Google Excel spreadsheet, so that you can easily change. But we determined to upload it to Kubernetes official website, since we can get the we can put the license to share creative license for. So those glossaries actually utilized by other Koreans to translate other Kubernetes related books as well. So currently we are managing it through the GitHub workflow. So someone wants to change, then they need to issue or make PR for the suggestion. And then the reviewers or team members determine which one is the best way by the weekly meeting. Thank you.
I didn't really think about the license, but it makes so much sense.
No, what is the license part? I missed that. I didn't understand. What was this special about the license?
Yeah, as you know, if we publish the glossary part to public through Kubernetes website, then it means we provide the creative for license. Then other teams or other related engineers can utilize our glossary.
Oh, Creative
Commons,
Creative Commons license. So you
yes.
provide a license so that other people are able to reuse your open source list of glossary. Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, they said they previously managed the table with spreadsheet, but it doesn't have any license, so they don't say what kind of copyright they should have. But in just writing on the Kubernetes website, you can just make use of the official license because it's just under the project.
Yeah, that's right.
One less thing to have to do yourself. That's great.
Yeah.
And then you have the version control, right? So with the spreadsheet, you don't have the version control that you have with the ability of having to update it with a PR and getting a review process as well, correct?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, this is excellent.
Yeah. And we also have like Japanese language specific issues too. Like for example, a bracket and dot period, and also like comma or the Japanese comma. Yeah, and we also have this long vowel. So it's like, for example, server in Japanese is saba, but it can be either the short one and the longer one, saba versus saba, and this letter specifies you have to put the long vowel here. So because it can be written in either in the technical documentation, so we determined how to manage it too. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So yeah, and we also don't forget about the upstream contribution to the English documentation, because sometimes they make pull requests to Japanese localization, but the mistake can be caused by the English one. We just translate it, but the English one was wrong. So in that case, we have to contribute both the Japanese one and the English one. So yeah, we also recommend to commit to the upstream as well in English. Yep, that's what we do in the localization documentation.
That's outstanding. That is really, really nice. Those are a lot of good, valuable tips there.
I really want to thank the Korean localization team, because we basically saw what they do and we just adopted it in our way.
Okay.
For Korean localization team, it is very good thing. Some team can repair our way, and actually we are doing very similar way with Japanese localization team, and we have similar page that Koei just introduced it. But a little bit, there are some different things. So maybe we can share later, not this time.
Do you want to share it now?
Too long, right? Yeah. So actually, we are following the branching strategy. There is guideline, localizing Kubernetes documentation guideline. There is section for branching strategy. We make the dev branch for localization, and we keep making milestones and check the outdated content from the English upstream side. Then we apply it to Korean dev branch so that we can keep synced with the English updated content. So maybe we can share how we do it. And we actively using GitHub workflow, using issue and PR to updating the outdated content for Korean as well. So actually we are preparing some document or presentation material to share how Korean works. So maybe we will schedule when we introduce Korean way.
Okay, so let me understand. You're working on a document that talks about how you do your branching strategy and how you do your milestone strategy. And so when the document is ready, you will for one of our upcoming meetings, I guess you'll want to talk through it more. Is that the idea?
Sure, right.
Okay, that sounds excellent. So we look forward to that. And then when you're done with that document, are you going to link it into your localization page, I guess, for Korean? So similar to how Soke did his, right? Is that where it's going to show up in the docs when it's done? Where will you put it when it's done?
The guide for the Korean localization?
You'll put it off the Korean localization how-to page?
I think
Actually,
it's
we
already there.
Yeah,
Is
we
it already
already
there?
have. Yeah,
Oh,
sure. We
okay.
already our own page, and it is very similar with Koei just mentioned. So actually, we can share that document, but I would like to introduce to our localization subgroup how Korean team works. The document itself is very detailed, but I hope to introduce it somehow simple way, comprehensively.
So you want to summarize it and describe it
Yeah,
in the
probably we
next
can write
meeting.
it in the docs and write an action item here.
Okay. Thank you.
I got an action item.
Yep.
Yes, sorry.
No problem. We are actually preparing presentation material.
I'm sorry, which one?
I think he's just saying the document is under preparation, right?
Right.
Yes.
How's that? So yeah, we can do that at an upcoming meeting when it's ready. That sounds excellent.
So I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
How frequently do you want to hold this meeting? Like at 1 month, like once a month, or every 2 weeks, or?
So it's really up to the team here, right? It's how we want to do it. The initial thing that I heard is people wanted to hold it once a month and try and do a little more on the Slack, which I'm fine with, unless people feel that we really need to meet more often than that, or we can try and do things as demand driven. So if something, we could meet once a month, but if something urgent comes up, we could try and schedule something urgently as well. But it really is up to all of you. So what do people think? Do y'all like once a month, or what do you think, Kohei?
I think once a month is a good start, since we are starting anyway. We'll see the feedback and how good how useful the meeting is for everyone.
Yep. Yeah, I think it depends on how many topics we have, right? This seems like a good way to do it. Okay, so let's stick with that and use the Slack and keep in touch there. And I will, Irvi and I will make sure that we get the next monthly meeting scheduled.
Yeah, sure.
Yep. Okay, good. And then, so I think we covered Kohei's action or Kohei's agenda item, and then we were able to sneak in Soko's as well. And then I think what's left is Irvi. So I think I think that's the next thing. I think. Irvi, if you the floor is yours. The meeting is yours.
Okay.
Before Irvi, can I ask a
Sure.
quick question to Kohei?
Sure.
Sure. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, so basically, the way you localize that localization how to page is not really based on the original English structure, right? You modified it according to your needs. Like
Yeah,
within
I completely changed it. It's not just from it's not from scratch actually, because just like Korean team, we used to have our own page somewhere different. So we basically just adopted it to the Markdown style in the Kubernetes document.
Yeah, what I'm trying to say is that you don't literally translate 100% from English. You add
Yeah,
your own software, right?
Yeah, we completely changed it.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually discussed
By
it
the
with
way-
sorry.
Oh, okay. So I just want to ask on how you prioritize things that you want to translate from English to Japanese.
Prioritize, as in the translation for each page.
Yes, yeah. I mean, like, why do you decide to translate a certain page over the other, probably?
Right. So was like concepts the most important content to translate, or was it the reference? Is that what you're asking, Irvi?
Yes, yeah, exactly.
I think the documentation has the Google Analytics, so you can check the like most viewed contents based on the analytics. So making use of it, the Google Analytics, you can start maintaining pages based on the demands. But also, I think it's just my opinion, but like contents for beginners is also demanding apart from that too.
Mm-hmm. And so basically you are checking the X for the English page or the Japanese page, and then you improve that certain page.
Oh, that's a good question, but I think you should start from English because you don't have any pages at the beginning, right? In your language.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. So maybe you can check the analytics for your language later, but for now, maybe you just ask for what's the most viewed translate and pages. I think you need a special permission to check the analytics, so you can ask the chairs first.
Yeah.
Yeah, in case of Korean localization team, we started from the tutorial part, because we actually surveyed from the Korean user group, Korean Kubernetes user group. We surveyed which part should be translated first. Then they mentioned tutorials, because tutorials are very easy part, even more the concept part. So we started from the tutorial and concept part, and we are focusing on task part. Task part is a little bit harder to beginners. So that's why we did. And currently we keep translating whole document based on contributors' preference. If we don't have contributors' preference, then they are very hard to translate not interested document. So currently, we don't guide which page should be translated, but contributors can choose which page should be translated. Thank you.
So let me just say, you're letting the folks who are willing to do the work decide the priority. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, currently, but the initial stage we focused on tutorial part.
Tutorials,
and
okay.
we covered whole tutorial part first, and then we moved to concept translation page, and then task part. We actually covered lots of localization, lots of document already. So currently we are paging the folks, let folks determine which page should be prioritized for themselves.
Okay, so if I understood this correctly, you started with tutorials, and then you moved to concepts, and then you said you moved to tests. Was that right?
Yes,
tasks. I'm sorry, yeah, tasks. So you went from tutorials to concepts to tasks, and then after that, it was whatever the contributor wanted to go do.
Right,
Okay.
that is current stage.
Okay, I'm going to capture that. That's interesting.
Yeah, once you have enough pages to show, people start recognizing, oh, there's translation. Then, oh, but this page is missing. This page is missing. Then an issue will be created by those people. So yeah, starting from basic things such as tutorials and concepts makes sense. But I think concepts is a really hard part to translate because they usually are really long. So yeah, you should ask for people. You should ask people to help as well.
Right. There are some specific document that has like XSL dense document. People, regular contributors does not contribute that kind of for translation for that document because it is too long to contribute. It's hard to initiate. So in the case, Korean localization team who participate the biweekly meeting, we sometimes request or suggest the translation for long document.
Also, so you basically break down the long page into multiple contributors, or how would you do that?
It depends. One contributor hopes to translate whole document, then we accept it. But sometimes a contributor can request the
portion,
divide the sections, and we can assign multiple contributors for that document. It is also possible, and we have that experience.
In the case of Japanese team, we actually accept pull requests where they only translate partially. So for example, there's like maybe 500 lines of English lines, and like only this part is translated and everything else is still English. That's okay, we just accept it. But like we also hope to update it. So we just make it an issue then so that other people can update it.
Interesting.
Yeah, but I think there are pros and cons on that way because it's in the Japanese document and it still shows as English partially, and you're not sure if this English is up to date. because contributors usually take the part based on the English sentences that is in the Japanese page. But like when it's actually there's a gap between the English one, the original English one, and the English sentences, which is in the Japanese page. It will be really difficult to validate if it's up to date. So I do not recommend it when the localization task is really busy. Only when you can take it for a long time. It can be like a long-term issue, but I wouldn't recommend if you want this page as soon as possible or something.
Okay. So these are all excellent strategies. Irvi, was there any other topics that we wanted to cover as part of this for today?
Can I ask my big question since we only have 8 more minutes?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yes.
So when we started the localization team for Indonesian language, our goal was to translate as many as we could. That was a simple goal. We have translated around 200 pages out of 70 contributors, if I'm not mistaken. Now, looking back, since we are also planning the new milestone, I want to ask what's the end goal or ultimate goal of each of the localization team? Is it to translate all 100% the upstream English pages, or to gather as many contributors as you can, or what? Because translation is doesn't end there, right? We have to maintain the outdated pages, and it's so much work. When I look back, I don't think translating 100% of English pages makes sense anymore for us. So I would want each of yours opinion on this, especially since we are in the middle of planning.
So I think it depends on if you want to set a milestone as long-term or short-term. In the case of, I think the Korean as well, but in Japanese and Korean team, we have milestones based on a Kubernetes version. So like 1.18, 1.17, 1.19, there's several different versions, right? And also the English documentation have the versions as well. So I think translating a new page is not a big deal anymore for us. The bigger part is updating. So we create this milestone as a really big goal. I think Korean translation has like chunks between in the same version. Like for example, they have 1.18 Korean 1, 2, 3, right? But because it's taking so long for Japanese translation, we only have one yet, and this milestone, the one milestone is really big. But I'm not sure about the Korean one, but it looks like more flexible because they are way ahead of at least our work in one milestone. So it depends on the strategy, how you want to take.
So I'm trying to understand. So the general question was, how much is your goal for trying to translate? And I'm not sure I understood the answer, Kohei. So how are you looking at how much you're going to try in each milestone?
So we basically create this huge issue lists to update. And when this update has ended, the milestone ends.
So you just come up with a list of priority items, it sounds like?
More like just where there's diff.
Where there's differences?
Yeah.
Okay. So you've gotten farther along because you've done so many translations. You're now more at the stage of a maintenance where We just need to figure out the differences, and that's where we focus on.
Yeah.
My guess is Gary's at a different stage. You're not quite at that stage, Gary, of, oh, what won't it be wonderful where we just have to look for the changes and the differences? Is that
Because he said he translated a lot of pages already, and he wants to know what he should make a goal at the next stage. So that's why I explain what I'm doing.
Gary, does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm very confused right now whether I should looking for new pages or keep the outdated ones updated. And I'm curious how many pages have you translated, Kohei? So that you are at this stage of updating the outdated pages.
Let me quickly see, because I don't remember in my book.
So Ko, you wanted to say something?
Yes, actually, you asked the ultimate goal of Korea localization teams. In case of Korean localization team, we actually focusing on helping people, Korean user group. So if Koreans think we need 100% translation, then we hope to follow it. But as you know, the contributors are very limited. So we are doing the best effort. Maybe we cannot cover the 100%, but we are doing our best. And sometimes, as you know, Kubernetes is keep growing. Every release, the documentation also changes. So currently we are hard to care the previous versions, but we keep focusing on the current or latest version. So if possible, we hope to cover 100%, but for now, we are doing best effort. Somehow we could have wonderful contributors for localization. So we have some contributors who are willing to translate very long document. So hopefully we hope to cover the 100%. And regarding the Kohei's comment, we have the branch strategy, and we are keep generating the dev branch for Korean localization, and 2 weeks later we merge it to master, and then we create another branch, and we keep repeat those 2-week milestones. And the reason why we do this in short term is that we hope to make our Korean localization document is keep updated and we hope to avoid the outdated content, because the outdated content is very crucial to Korean users who actually operate in the Kubernetes. So that's the reason why we shorten the milestone dev branch. Thank you.
Okay. Well, we are out of time for our first meeting, but we filled the whole hour with great tips. I don't think we got to everybody. It looks like Rael added some things into the Google Doc. I tried to take notes as best as possible to capture the key points that all of the speakers were making, and I think Irvi was doing the same as well, and others were adding things. So please review them. If I did not capture them properly, please let me know. But Soko and Kohei, I did my best while you were talking. There is a lot of true expertise on this call that is just really interesting. And so as we get into more of the details of the topics, like Soko and how they're doing things with their document, I know personally I've learned a lot just in this 1 hour, so this is amazing. So I wanted to thank everyone. This is just an absolutely very productive call, and we'll do it once a month, and we have our Slack as well. Any closing statements from anyone that we'll make sure everybody got a chance to speak? Anything important before we end the meeting?
I want to answer a very quick. As for the answer, question for Indonesian translation, we have over 300 pages now, while Korean has 400. Wow. And I think Indonesian currently on the master
That's
is
a lot.
260. Yeah, 263 is Indonesian, and we are like 303.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
incredible.
so we're trying to keep up and follow the Korean or the English one, of course. Yeah.
Fantastic. Lots of translation, then it's not easy.
It's not.
Not easy. Okay. Anything else? I'm going to do the classic SIG Docs 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I don't do it very well. I'm going to practice that. Everyone, this was a great meeting, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
Everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Recording.